Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Samurai along my co-host Stank, and no Poppy Latte tonight. He's out, but we are joined by, of course, the great Anthony Becht, Bucs legend and former Jet tight end, joining us on the Loose Cannons, our first post-game show for the Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're 2-0. Anthony Becht. I mean, you were telling us before the show we don't really have much to complain about, do we?
Wait, so this is the first inaugural post-game show
Of the
Actually,
season.
of the season,
of
yeah.
the season.
Yep.
Okay, so good. I'm
Yeah,
glad I get
we missed
the
last week.
awesome. Very good, very good. Yeah, I mean, I watched the film. I get the film about midnight, and of course, you want to check it out. I got my morning hit on WDAE, excuse me, at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can't pronounce my letters, and I just want to make sure, because you can say a lot of things, right? You can see a lot of things, and you can, the TV copy is one thing, but what really happens, right? Like, so now it's like when you watch the film, it's pretty good. So you're like, okay, what can we nitpick, or what can I find that's like, okay, worthy of talking about? But all in all, I mean, I think the biggest take that I had this morning was for the team, and I don't think this really happens to a guy like Brady, and it actually helps the team because Brady's there, is don't get bored with being great, right?
Mm.
So I mean that's kind of that should be the T-shirt for the team this year, because they're a great team, and they can go out there and absolutely dominate a game. And when they do that, and they do it early or however they do it, they got to understand, like, every drive's important, every opportunity is important. Everybody has their individual goals, but obviously it's a team goal. But they can achieve all that stuff this year, which I think is great, right? So, you saw BA kind of complaining about how he should have had 35 points before the half. I mean, those are the kind of little things now you're trying to, like, you're trying to magnify so that you can keep the gas pedal on the gas for the team, and keep them motivated to go. But you do get complacent, and you see it all the time. You get up big leads, and all of a sudden the team changes that you're playing, changes their dynamic. They get into a passing mode, and now you're okay. How do you manage that kind of that little comeback, those spurts and things? And you saw that out of the Falcons, who quite frankly aren't a very good team, but they got players, they're going to make plays, and if you give them Matt Ryan, opportunities, going to take advantage of them like he did. So I think just all in all, though, those are the things you try to find in the film and say, okay, and this is coach speak, right? Like how, you make it important for the team.
Anthony, Bucks fans have PTSD. It's like what 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Atlanta has the ball, and you're wondering, is this going to be one of those games where we should win it comfortably and we give it away in the end? We have a rough history with Atlanta, although we've played them well here recently. Defense does step up. We get two back-to-back pick sixes and two consecutive series, and we're able to breathe and sigh and laugh as we leave the stadium. But it could have gone differently,
Of course.
and it felt like we did leave so many opportunities out on the field. You got Ronald Jones, who could just easily lower his shoulder and get a first down, and he runs out of bounds instead. Just little mental mistakes that seem to kind of pop up, and it's not just Ronald, but from other guys as well that seem to kind of be holding us back from truly putting that performance that we kind of just coast through. It just seems like we're always holding our breath no matter what.
Well, eventually the team's going to be tested, right? So you're going to, for instance, I think next week's game is going to be very similar to last year's game, and now there were mistakes in that game that kept either or team within the game. But I just think, like, as much as you can go out and dominate, you still have to be situationally aware. So, for instance, just to break down some of the names, you talked about Ronald Jones. In that circumstance, again, Ronald Jones to me is a guy that has improved in an area, right? I think we can all agree, in an area every year since he's been in, and he was labeled a bust, right? So last year we talked about, how harder he runs, and he hits the hole quick and all this stuff. Well, now it's like, okay, now you put all those athleticism things, those running back traits, and now it's like, okay, how do you increase, the situational awareness, the mental side of the game, understanding the situation, And that's a perfect example, like you mentioned. I mean, we see it and we're thinking, okay, well, why would you do that? But why weren't you thinking of that? But, the running back, why wasn't that in your mind saying, okay, here's a scenario, situation, take a glimpse at the clock, because, a guy like Brady, he's doing all those things and you don't even know he's doing it, but he understands, right? And then, and then even I believe the Fournette screen, that this was when they're up by, I think it was 28-25, and he kind of fumbled. It got poked out.
Punched out, yeah.
Yeah, I believe they were only up by 3 at that moment. That a situation where it's like, man, don't get casual when you get close to running out of bounds. Anything can happen, just in those moments. So just fine tuning the details of the game. And I think that's where it takes this team okay, we know they're good. They got talent, but now it's like, how do you become like a bit of a dynasty? How do you become like a team like, okay, everybody's back, got all the pieces, added a couple wrinkles. How do we take the next step and say, okay, this is where we separate ourselves from the Chiefs and we separate ourselves from the Ravens and anybody else in the NFC that we think, can compete with us, Green Bay, if they get their act together. So that's kind of like, you're right. I do think those little things are the difference between advancing, right, in those moments when they come back, and, kind of like, okay, we got to the NFC Championship, we lost, we won a Super Bowl last year, we're good. Like, no, that's, Brady didn't come back to get the NFC Championships, he's getting back to win a championship. So that's the mentality that, again, he will press on and he will get and teach these guys as well. So he's just such an important component behind Brady, I think, because there is a lot, as much as he's having fun, he loves it, and he loves doing those things. I'm almost positive, but the dollar value you're actually paying him is like minimal, because what he actually brings to the table. So to me, it's like you're always getting a bargain from him, whether it's $30 million a year, $40 million a year, because he's making everybody different on your football team.
Anthony, you played in the NFL. You know how difficult it is to win a game. There's only 17 of them now. There used to be 16, obviously, but it's a difficult thing to accomplish, a win. So celebrating a win is utmost. I think it's at the top of the list. We're 2-0. Like, we're going to nitpick, sure, but we are 2-0. And a lot of this also falls on the fact that we kind of struggled a little bit, but keep in mind, the other team gets paid to play the game, and they're going to compete. But we're also we got the target on us. We're the guys with the bullseye on our chest. We are the defending Super Bowl champs. We're going to get everybody's A game, whether it's at the second quarter, the third quarter, in some sort of a comeback fashion, whatever it is, we have to constantly stay on it. And I think some of that is kind of what this team may be going through. They're kind of like adjusting to that, understanding that they really can't take the foot off their pedal, because these aren't the Detroit Lions of last year after Christmas that are just going to give up because they're down 21. You're the defending Super Bowl champs. Somebody wants to take you down. Now, with all that being said, can we fucking talk about the fact that we still didn't play very well? We put up 7 fucking touchdowns between the two sides of the team. But more importantly, Gronk and Tom Brady. Like, what are we seeing here right now? These guys look like they're 35.
Well, everybody relates being a really good football player, and you have to be like young. Like, to me, if you're a tailback or wide receiver, being young makes sense, right? I mean, you got to be, because you're going to get a little slower, and and all those things creep in with age. At the quarterback position, to me, if you're a pocket guy, like what really decreases, it's health. The only thing, right, that your body deteriorates. Brady's found a way to keep his body in 35-year-old shape, and I think that's the key component. But as far as playing the game at that position, like, dude, the more years he plays, it's like, it's sick. Like, I always used to think like, oh, I've been playing, I'm a professional golfer, I'm on the senior tour, I played for 30 years. Like, you think guys get really, really good, but really that's not how it works, right? It's like you lose distance and stuff. Like, for Brady, like, the way he operates, most of the quarterback stuff is so mental, is so, in your regimen of what you're doing, really has nothing to do with muscle. It's more muscle memory, if anything. And, the way that he prepares his body and the throws that he makes, what throw doesn't he have right now? He overthrew Mike Evans down the seam. I mean, like, think about that. It's like, okay, that's actually like, man, that was kind of cool. Like, I saw it, like, dude's got an arm, right? He can get it out there. So now Gronk, I'll say this. I don't think he's getting up there yet. Clearly he's not as fast and as agile as he once was. But again, if you look at a guy like Witten, who played 14, 15 years, he continued to make plays because he understands separation. He understands technique. He understands situations. He understands, okay, in this coverage, this is the two things they can do. And I know I can beat them with this, right? So he's thinking about that stuff. So again, you're talking about a guy that, okay, yeah, his speed's down a little bit, but technically he's so advanced, he's beating you, whether you're a rookie safety that's coming in as a top draft pick or a guy that's primed to make the Pro Bowl because you're in your 6th season. It doesn't matter. So again, health, as long as he stays healthy, that's a good thing, and preparing his body. So they're exceptional players, man. I mean, you know, when you're down in the red zone, why wouldn't you throw it to Gronk? No one's done it better than him ever. So, and you, if you know your quarterback and what he does, he knows who he can count on. Now, it's not that he can't count on the other guys, because normally when they're a yard or two off the goal line, they're going to Evans, right? And we saw that in the game. But man, Gronk, like within 10 yards, like he's looking for him and he finds space. And man, he has incredible mitts. Like that one touchdown. I mean, we look at it, he caught it. I mean, dude, that was like a sick grab. Like, you know, that ball easily rolls out of a lot of tight ends' hands. I mean, it's complicated when those things, you know, it's not easy as throw and catch. There's like, you know, control your body falling on the ball and getting your hands underneath. And then like the absorption of the ground, like you have to factor those things in, because if you just catch and go to the ground, you probably bounce off, right? So you have to have all those little things and details in place. And those guys, dude, it's muscle memory, man. He knows how to squeeze. He knows what it feels like to roll, all that stuff. So that's what makes him great. But man, the health, I don't want to jinx, you know, I always knock on wood. I mean, eventually at some point, you know, we talk about he, you know, you keep testing Father Time with Brady. He's going to get you, right? But I mean, look, man, if you feel good, he loves the game. The biggest thing is just like the stuff in between the weeks, to going through that. Like that's the mental toughness. That's tough to do. Peyton Manning did it a long time, but he just couldn't. That grind, he loves that grind, man. He still does, man. Good for him. So, you know, if he wants to play till he's 50, go play to your 50, man. I keep paying him, wouldn't you? I mean, why would you go anywhere else? You know, I would literally. I'm shocked to this day the Patriots let him go. And then they went and spent $200 million on free agency, right? Like it makes no sense at all. And Bill Belichick is standing on the sidelines, sick to his stomach every day for doing it. I got to think, but that, hey, to the Buccaneers credit, to their mistake.
Tom Brady's on pace right now to throw 76 or 77 touchdowns. Why? I know it's a 17-game season, but holy shit, nine through the first 2 weeks. Freaking dating back to the last 3 games to the Super Bowl, Gronk's caught 2 touchdowns in each game. That's insane. And then we had Mike yesterday get 2. And can we talk a little bit about that sick? I mean, everyone's thinking slant, easy. It's an easy touchdown, slant to Mike Evans at the goal line, right? And he just absolutely shakes that, puts that guy on skates, and just easy touchdown right to the outside. I mean, just talk, you're a big guy too, Anthony. So talk to a little bit how difficult is that for somebody of his size and his stature to pull that off? I know he's a wide receiver, he's not a tight end, but that move was so fucking slick, and it was such an easy touchdown, and everyone knows it's going to him, and he still pulls that off.
You talking about that little quick fade to the side?
Yeah. So, it looked like a slant. He sold it.
So you say it's like, yeah, it was an easy thing. Honestly, man, I saw a lot of things in that catch that were like spectacular if you really watch it. And this is what I saw. Number one, the ball placement was incredible. So like the difference where the actual player could have put his hand up to where the trajectory of the ball was to hit Mike in stride in a fading situation. I mean, that was an incredible throw, number one. The one thing I love about Mike is a lot of those receivers run that. They grab the ball and they're kind of like fall back. The ball's kind of not on them. If you watch him catch it, he goes up and he quickly like snails his body in, like everything just curls in. Like, so he's protecting the ball, falls to the ground, a little weird. But I mean, it's all into the fact that like, okay, if he put his arm up and tries to strip or does anything, if I hang it out here and fall back, he could do a lot of certain things. And if I fall on my back, the impact, the ball could bounce out. He immediately snags and pulls to his body, falls, and then he gets right back up because he knew he purposely wanted to do that to protect from any negative thing to happen in that catch. So I kind of watched it a couple times, like, man, that's just great intuition, just understanding, like, if I get this pass, like, I have to do this, this, and this to make sure it's 100% going to be caught. And all that happened in that moment that we say, man, It looked easy, but there's just so much to it. Like, the game of football is funny because, we're all fans. I'm a fan of the game, but being that I lived through it and I've been in the situations or seen those situations and watched guys do it, man, it is a highly, highly, highly high level thing, man, that these guys are doing. And, to get a ball to go a certain way, most of the time, like a guy like Brady does and some of these other great quarterbacks, it's remarkable to see. Watch Mahomes, these kind of passes, man, are just sick. And, it's unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, I was. You were describing to. I'm just kind of imagining just jumping in the air and falling on the ground and trying to catch anything. I don't give a shit what it is. Right. All of us fat, out of shape, pencil pushing fantasy football playing fans just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, you lived that. You lived that shit. And you're a giant man, and to do that and have the agility and the guts and all that to fight through and come off the line and die for a ball and still it's incredible to watch, man. And it's wild because we have so much talent. It's wild to see that different guys contribute each week. OJ caught a pass this week. He's like, oh yeah, that's right, OJ's still on this team. Cameron Brate hasn't caught a pass yet. And for a good stretch, Cam Brate was
he caught one yesterday. Did
he catch one? Okay,
yes, sir.
Well, yeah. When you're at the game, it's kind of hard, a little bit harder to follow than watching it on TV.
Yeah, he had one catch for 8 yards.
Right. Mm-hmm. But you got all these weapons, and really Brady could kind of get surgical at any time with any one of these pieces. And like I said, you still kind of leave the performance and feeling like, damn, we could have even done more. So it's
one thing that I noticed on film to talk more about that, what you're explaining, is the one thing I'm noticing is that now with the offense, at least in maybe last game for sure, and a little bit in the last game before that, is there's other guys open now. Like the ball that's going to the guy that's the read that he wants, like there's another guy here that's available. So what that tells me is, okay, defenses are like, what the hell? Like, what are we supposed to, like, I thought this is a read and you're out of place. So now it's coming to the point where you said all those weapons are becoming so dangerous. Yeah. AB is such a, he's moving around real well. And, these guys can play at a high level because they don't have to be the one to be the number one guy. And then all of a sudden they can be the number one guy, right? Instantaneously. And all, you're like, oh shit, I'm following Evans and Gronk. We should be good. And then bam, like Godwin, oh crap, we forgot about him. And the separation is crazy now with him and the other guys. So, it's, we talked about last year. It's like the third, the fourth, and the fifth guy. Like, who are they covering? And what do they know about what they're doing? Because you can't have them all good on defense. Eventually you're going to have to hide somebody. And with the Bucs offense, you can't hide too many defenders.
Anthony, you've been in the locker room. You've been in meetings. You've been, more importantly, in the huddle of a game. The Bucs so far through 2 games have shown, the ability to kind of just go down the field at will. They've also been able to step up on defense when they need to in the red zone in specific moments. They did that yesterday again. But then there's also this moment in the game, and I'm not complaining, but it seems like they go into this lull where they almost fall asleep, or they don't take every single aspect of each play, the little details, serious enough to where they end up going 3 and out. Even Brady looked like he threw a couple of weird duck, wobbly passes at the feet of the receivers. One was overthrown, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? It kind of happens right after that Jensen personal foul where it all seemed to kind of fall off for a little bit. Can you explain how that happens in a game when you're an NFL team? Is there something? Is that a mentality thing? Is that guys not focused, or is that guys that kind of check out or just not take the team, their opponent serious enough? What happens there?
Yeah, obviously you don't want to have a situation where you're behind the chains or 2nd and 20, you do something silly, you lose all the yards. That there is a kind of with Brady, there is one thing he can't do is he's not mobile. All right, he's not going to be able to break through and extend plays. So think about our offense compared to everybody else. Like our offense has to, where I say our, but the Bucs offense has to work in the framework of the play and the protection of the time it takes, within 4 seconds at the best case, probably less. And if it doesn't, you really don't have anything. So all those things have to align and make sense. I'll ask this as a follow question is, when you watch because I get this when I watch the Chiefs last night, I don't know if you guys watched the game, but when the Chiefs get the ball, I just truly believe they're going to score every single time.
Yeah.
Like they're going to find a way to get out of whatever they're in. And what stopped them? They fumbled. But if they didn't fumble, they were going to kick a field goal and probably take the lead in that game, right? Like there's no doubt in my mind. Do you get that same feeling when you talk about the Bucs offense? Like,
no.
Okay, exactly. So I don't either, right? Even though they're good, because the other things that, there's nothing else outside the framework of the play. Is that a negative? No. But it does leave the defense with something that, you know what? There is a way to stop this, in that 3.5 seconds. So whereas the Chiefs, there's a lot of other components that can go on. Like, okay, protection breaks down. Mahomes is going here. Mahomes is going there. Cheetahs can go back here. Kels can go over here. And it's only two guys. They don't have a ton of weapons like Pringles. Other guys make plays and do things, but like the Bucs got massive amount of players. So relatively speaking, they're going to have more options for Brady to make that decision within that framework of time. So, it's just one of those things. I don't get that feeling though when I see the Bucs. Like, even though I feel like, man, they can go down the field and do it, I'm like, oh man, could be a 3-and-out. Like, it's simply like, oh, it's a 3-and-out. Like, really? Like, how do you just go 3-and-out? You got all these weapons. Like, you went 3-and-out. Like, especially like if you start the game and go 3-out. It just boggles my mind. Like, how do you not just get past the 50, right? Like, you just got so much going on. So you do have that little lackadaisicalness of things and situations where, like, in the Chiefs' mind, like, oh, holding 1st and 20. You know what? Mahomes will figure it out. He'll get us to 20 yards back. That's a mentality that they have. So they believe that. First and 20 with Brady, I don't know. Like, maybe they can cut it in half. Then they can get it, and then the 3rd and short, maybe they can get it, but maybe they won't. You know what I mean? So,
but to be fair, the other 31 teams in the league are in the same boat we are. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can look at other great offenses, but nobody really compares to the Chiefs right now as far as that ability to just strike from anywhere at any time and keep any play going. I mean, you look at Lamar, and Lamar can obviously beat you with his feet, but he doesn't have the ability arm-wise that Mahomes has. So
you've got to defend the Chiefs whistle to whistle. That's
you do.
Like, I think the Ravens are a good matchup for the Bucs defense would do well against that. I mean, they still give up yards, but the Chiefs, I mean, look, they're the team. Like, you got to take a little time and study each week because, if your goal's to win it, and they got linemen now, like they're back, like, their defense obviously is they're going to be their weakness, and sometimes it's their positive, but last night it wasn't. So they're always going to have fatal flaws. So, the fact the Bucs have a little bit of both, man, that you're like, it's an elite defense somewhat and an elite offense. That's where it kind of puts them in that pecking order of, okay, you're not Mahomes and you can't do those things, but man, like in the framework of the play, we're as dominant as anybody out there.
Anthony, I'm sorry, Sam. He just said something that made me think of something. Speaking of defense, through 2 weeks, both teams we face have kind of given up on trying to run the ball against us. And they just basically 80% pass. Is that the way this league is moving? I mean, do you really need to run the ball to set up the pass, or do you see teams just becoming so pass heavy and that's just the way the league is kind of trending?
I think most of the league trends that way, but there are teams that, 49ers are heavy play action. Obviously, Ravens, Patriots are back to their old style where they want to, go with the run. The Jets want to be that style as well, off play action. So there's a lot of teams that believe in what the value of that brings and having that balance. But, I said it this morning. I'm like, this is a pass first team. I don't care how you want to do it. You can want to establish the run and all that's crazy, but to me, I wouldn't hand off the ball more times than what did they have? 21 carries, and we had 36 passes. I mean, the ratio should be for every 2 passes, maybe a run. I'm fine with that. You maximize the runs properly. You should have some really. Between the 2 main backs, they averaged about 4.6 yards a carry. Like, that's elite to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe you need to see 100 yards from a person. I don't. The numbers mean something broken down. So, I think they were as dangerous as you can be as a running team. The Buccaneers were, in my opinion, yesterday, and their offensive line had great surge, like dominant surge in those runs as well. So you can do both, man. Like, they could be a run heavy team if they wanted to, but man, there's just too much out there. I mean, and a lot of their passes sometimes similar to what Brady did back in the day with the Patriots. There was one year where like, all this quick throw, like that's an extension of the run game, right? So it's all about mismatches and numbers in the box. So, look, they can be versatile as well too. You can bring in the heavy package and they can do all that big tackle thing and put you on that too as well. So that's the flexibility of this offense. Instead of having 5 receivers, they can go extra tackle, tight end, and mash it down your throat. So it's nice to have that in your back pocket.
A little bit of a piggyback off of that, because I was kind of going towards the same question, but more towards the Bucs. I sense this, especially yesterday. I sense this weird arrogance from the offense. Mostly from the play calling, or maybe for how they were trying to go down the field, where instead of playing football, they seem to be looking for that kill strike almost from the first quarter. And I don't know if that's just because, hey, it's the Falcons, we just get out ahead, let's fucking put this team away, or if this is something that's kind of starting to develop with the fact that they have so many weapons that they think they can just kind of skip over playing football, like, short routes, middle, all that. Like, they seem to kind of, it seems arrogant to me. And I'm not saying that because we left at least 2 passing touchdowns on the field. He could have had 7 touchdowns yesterday, Tom Brady, aside from the 2 pick sixes. But there seems to be this weird arrogance that I think needs to not happen if you're going to beat a team like the Rams, because you have to play them A to Z and how you run your offense and how you play on defense. But mostly on offense, you have to be on it. And yesterday, it seemed like they were just, I don't know, cocky or arrogant with the way they wanted to go down the field instead of just taking what's there.
Well, you want to have swag, number one. That's important. It's the difference between, being cocky and having confidence, right? That you want them to have that confidence. I would say this. I think when they watch the film and they see the kind of guys that they have running routes, some of those routes that you would necessarily not think you'd have a chance on, maybe it's like a clear out route or, a deep cross where it's like, okay, sometimes you're like, shit, if I just waited a half a second, we got that, right? So I think it's more of, like Brady feels like there's some more splash plays available. So now it's like, what's the happy medium between, number one, taking advantage of that, and 2, moving the chains properly? Like you said, if you go back again, we're just talking about, it just happened to happen. I just, in my memory, go back to the Rams game when he had 2 horrible picks in the middle of the field to the safety. Like, what the hell, right? Like, what was that? Like, it was like head scratcher stuff. You didn't, but again, he trying to go for the money when, you think, okay, I got Andy AB there. He's going to, he's going to go over the top. He's going to beat him and it's all good. But well, guess what? They got help over there. So it's not there. So again, I think there's a happy medium. I just truly believe that he's, he just, watches that film and sees like, okay, like if I just can hang on and we can get that extra 1/10 or 2/10 of a second, we can get that play. Now it's like, okay, now what are the odds of you actually making it work? Like compared to maybe hitting that crosser or getting that 5 or 6 yard gain. So I don't want to tell them to stay off it, because this game is about explosive plays. Usually say a team gets about 3 or 4 a game and they got to hit them, but they might be in the world where they can get 7. I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the big thing now, where it's, it's up to Brady to dictate, okay, when's it right to do it? When is not right to do. And I don't know if it's arrogance, but, I just think like, they just want to maximize what they're trying to do offensively. But in these games, when they're close, you really, you got to take what they give you, because if you do hang on a little bit, a turnover or something bad can happen.
I mean, I like it. I like going for the other team's throat when we've obviously got the, the horses to do it. And it's Bruce Arians, man. Since he's been here, that's the kind of offense he's envisioned. He's an attack guy. He likes to go down the field, take big shots. It was like the criticism when they were trying to marry Bruce and Jameis together, and like, is it a good fit? And it seems, and then when Tom got here, it's like, well, can Tom fit into that style offense? Clearly, the answer is absolutely yes, because we're successful more often than not. I mean, he was just hair off from hitting Mike Evans with that long bomb. Mike would have 3 touchdowns today and 160 yards receiving had he caught that pass. And he missed AB kind of twice with some touch passes between the safety and the corner, and that young corner for
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta. Made good plays twice. So I like it, man. I like the attack first. It doesn't feel like we're an efficient running team. I don't think we have like a really great running identity.
You didn't
Although
like what they did yesterday? Did you not
I like some of the outside. No, I like some of the outside runs.
I thought, man,
Yeah.
I don't know. I see fresh legs. I see guys bouncing around, getting into the holes. I see great push. You know,
They seem to run better outside. They seem to run better outside than they do
I
when they
mean,
go
you know,
inside.
you take, you know, obviously whatever the play is that they're doing, but even pass protection, you know, everybody's talking about Ronald Jones. I mean, he did miss that one, but man, like if you, you know, it wasn't because he was lackadaisical. You know, he was convicted on going somewhere with urgency. He just went to the wrong spot and tried to recover, and he didn't. And there was a sack.
Right.
But on the flip side, Leonard Fournette, if you go back and you can see do they still do the coaches' copies on Game Pass or whatever? I don't know.
They haven't this year. They haven't this year.
Oh, really? Okay. So, I mean, if you watch from behind, like Leonard so he had a pickup blitz protection where he actually took two linebackers. He cut one and the other one fell behind. It was like, you know, those things are hard to do. And then another one where Brady was under center and he was behind him in like the eye with no back in front of him. And he had to go around Brady on a little play action thing and come back around and pick up I mean, dude, that's like, it's not easy. Like, I mean, it gets picked up and you're like, yeah, that's his job. But it's like, man, like, you know, to go left and then come back right and then take on a guy and get him down and then, you know, have your quarterback complete a pass. Like that's stuff that shows on film that they're getting like pluses for. And they're talking about it. Like Brady's like, that's good shit right there. Look at Fournette. Like that shows up, you know, and trust me, Brady will remember that, you know, when he does it. So those things are big, man. And you know, again, your role may seem minimized in the run game, but when you get your chances, man, you got to make the most of them. And, you know, you got to be ready for every scenario. Like you said, you can't be casual with the football because you don't know how many touches you're going to get, catches you're going to get, because it is a pass first team. So that's how you got to go about it if you're back in this system.
Speaking of making the most of your opportunities, through 2 games, the Bucs haven't had many sacks. They've had some pressures. They seem to kind of get in the face of the quarterback. Vita's kind of pushing his guy into the quarterback as opposed to getting a sack a lot of the time. Is there anything there that we should be concerned about? Is it the quarterback getting the ball out quickly? I mean, a lot of times yesterday, it seemed like Matt Ryan had way over 5-6 seconds back there. And it seemed that if they were able to get home, he wouldn't have completed some of those passes. And is there something to be concerned there? Or is it just, you know, the defense still kind of feeling its way out because they only played 3 preseason games. They only played in 2 of them technically. What's going on there? Because people that's one of the biggest things that people are asking or taking away from these first 2 games is that why aren't we getting all these sacks?
I think you answered this question in the beginning of the show. I mean, what did you say? You said we got a bullseye on us. Everybody's giving us their best shot. Don't think for 2 seconds they ain't spending extra time on protection. And if you watched Atlanta last week, they were horrible against the Eagles. Horrible. So you know they got their asses ripped all week, and they were working pass protection and blitz pickups extra the entire time. And you usually see teams bounce back, but now it's the Bucs, and it's like now it even goes higher. So listen, man, like Cowboys game, dude, ball was out of hand like now. Like you didn't have a lot of time. Like, you know, and Ezekiel Elliott, you know, he had a stiff neck because he wasn't running the ball. He had to stick his face on, you know, Devin White or whoever was coming in. So listen, as long as you're continuing to get pressure, the sacks will come. And when they do, it seems like they make like a lot of things happen when those, like these are like, you know, the tip ball, you know, you don't get a sack, but if you tip a ball because you're pass rushing or stuff like that and you get an interception, and that stuff all counts. So listen, don't think for 2 seconds that the quarterback is not nervous as shit back there thinking about, okay, do I trust my line's going to pick it up or should I be a little hesitant? Like they're always thinking the other side of it because they bring so much. So I don't know if there's anything to worry about now. I mean, clearly, you know, offenses are preparing for it. And Todd, look, there's only so many blitzes, man. Todd's not like, you know, there's not going to draw up something nobody's seen. So it's just on how you can hide things and utilize who's on the field. Like, you know, Cockrell's on the field. Maybe they can't be as dynamic in certain areas or something like that. Or maybe a guy's injured or limpy and he's playing. You're like, well, I don't think he's going to be quick enough to do what we need him to do. We have to do this with these 2 guys instead. So, again, it's strategic. As long as you don't see any zone or any of that kind of stuff, man, I'm good. I don't want to see any of that stuff where nobody's not. I want it in the face and go pass rush, and I'll live to do whatever they can get on that. I'll live and die with that.
They
It
did
seemed
get,
like
they did get
we were
two
getting a lot of
tips.
hurries.
They got two
Yeah.
tips that turned into picks, and Devin White did scream through there a couple of times and put an end to a couple of their drives. Sorry, go ahead, Stank.
No, I was gonna say I think the hurries and the pressures were there. We just couldn't get the guy on the ground for whatever reason. Sometimes you get games like that. I think Sue had a pretty good game.
He did.
And I think Shaq had a better game than you think he did. He got called off sides on that sack fumble. That would have been a touchdown, which to me looked like the most perfect time get off. But unfortunately, you can't challenge plays like that. But I'm not worried about the pass rush. Maybe this was their third,
You were
fourth
losing your mind.
No, I was at the game yesterday. I rewatched the game today. It kind of calmed me down a little bit. They were around him, and Matt's a veteran quarterback. He did what he had to do, kept his eyes downfield, and made some really good plays, man. Atlanta knew that Atlanta did not want to go 0-2. And
when they start getting sacks, what normally happens from just last year, they come in bunches. So once they start hitting them, they may pull 4 or 5 off in a game, and then the next game 3. So you're going to get a little spam where they're going to come and eventually they're just going to get home. Coverage will be good and they're going to make those plays. So yeah, let's give it 4 games and see how they are, and then we can reassess after that.
Bowles did ratchet up the pressure there at the end of the game. I mean, the second pick 6, he brought both corners.
He brought a corner and a safety on the same blitz.
Well, Mike Edwards basically was playing nickel for most of the game. So, but he brought Edwards and Carlton Davis, and Carlton tipped the ball, and Mike got a second pick 6. And I think the play before that, he brought Devin White screaming up the middle, and they sacked Ryan. So, I think with teams trying to spread us out, because I guess that's the recipe, right? They're going to spread us out and try to get the ball out of their hands quick, because that old 5-step drop 4 or 5 seconds, like Anthony was saying, that's not going to work against this defense. So Bowles is a lunatic. That guy's going to figure out a way to generate pressure, whether he's got to bring extra guys or whether he's able to scheme guys or we get guys beating people individually. I'm kind of anxious to see, man. This next game is going to be fun, man. We're flying out to LA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to watch the game in SoFi. I think it's going to be a heavyweight bout.
Yeah, it will be. I think a lot of people are thinking points. I know I necessarily look at it differently. I feel like there'll be points scored, but I really think there's going to be some stops. We got to find a way to manage Cooper Kupp. I don't think you're going to stop him. You got to manage him. And this is a big moment for Stafford. He's played on crappy team for his entire career. Now he's got a little something there. Now what happens when the game's close and all that stuff. Like, okay, against the Colts, it was close. That's great. But now you're playing the Bucs. Like, they're the defending champions. Okay, this is why they brought you there. Like, what are you going to do different than Jared Goff? Jared Goff beat them. So, if they want to get where they need to be, they got to find a way to beat them twice this year. And it starts with this game, because if they see them again in the playoffs, they're going to have to beat them twice. So, this will be huge. So, and again, this is one of those games where, like last year, and come these big games, it's like 3-and-out first year. Like, we don't want to see that, right? We want to see something a little better than that. So let's see how they go. I mean, I think mindset wise, the Buccaneers with 2 wins under their belt should really be amped about playing a good team, right? I think that will only help them. And the way their schedule's set up, it's silly to talk about it, but you set yourself up for like 8, 9, and 10 in a row here if you can kind of get your act together. So
this is also their first game on the road. Last year, I felt like they played better on the road. They seem more focused. They did play better on the road, yep. Also, keep in mind, they're playing in front of the fans for the first time this season, and no fans last year for the most part. There's a lot of energy in that stadium. Super Bowl, win, all that electricity there tends to kind of get guys a little, over-amped up and excited. So I think some of that goes away now that they go on the road. They got to deal with a little bit of adversity. Brings your team together a little bit better. You kind of focus in a little bit more because you have to really be on top of things. So I do expect the Bucs to come out and I don't want to say play better, but they'll look like they have a little bit more focus, and that's saying a lot.
Crowd noise is going to be a factor. The crowd noise for sure. They didn't have to deal with that, right? You go away, you're like playing at home. There's no noise.
No, Atlanta had to deal with the crowd noise.
I'm telling you, that lineman. Look, it's a big deal now, and players and teams. You're seeing, last year a lot of away teams won. That not this so far this year, and they're not. So packed house, big games, environments are crazy. That's going to take some time to get used to because players didn't have to do it last year. And you forget about that over a year's of playing football, and then all of a sudden you're in. You're like, man, I forgot how overwhelming this can be if you're not dialed in. So it's not necessarily Brady; it's going to be everybody else around him as well.
It's good to go out there and practice this first time around because we're going to be back in that stadium later on in the year, next year.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's good to go out there and kind of
back out. Are you going to play for that one as well or no?
Of course, yeah, I already got my tickets. We already got tickets for that one too.
I'll be out there. That'll be good.
Yeah, the Rams offense doesn't scare me. McVay scares me because the guy's really good at kind of just play calling and scheming. But as far as weapons are concerned, I think Dallas and Atlanta have weapons on par with the Rams. The Rams defense, different animal. We haven't played a defense like that this season. But honestly, with the amount of weapons we have, if we get the protection up front, I don't really care who lines up against us, man. We should be able to move the ball on anybody.
Yeah. No, you're right. It should be a good one.
Anthony, thanks. I know you got to go. You can't stay the entire show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let people know how they can listen to you, where they can find you. I heard you this morning on 620. I rarely listen to that station, but I knew you were coming in that morning early, so I had to pay attention. It was really good stuff. Go ahead and let people know how they can get a hold of your knowledge, man.
Yeah. So Anthony_Becht is my Twitter. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. So my Spit and Fire podcast is actually getting turned into an actual show. So we're performing test shows. Last week was the first one we're working on because my partner is in New York or New Jersey. So we have to get studio for him and make sure things are good. And they had a little flood issue up there up in New Jersey the last couple of weeks. So they're just getting that. So that now will become a segmented studio show from 2 different locations. So we're working hard. We got picked up by a platform that I'm excited to work with, but it takes time. We wanted to launch week 1, but it's been tough. So hopefully in a couple weeks, we'll have something out there where it looks like, 6K. It's pretty impressive and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens, but I'll keep you guys in a loop. Push it out for me when I pump it out there, man. Like you guys always do, man. I appreciate you.
Speaking of 6K, have you guys seen these fucking camera shots like through the first few weeks?
They're like blurs everything in the back and just like
holy shit! It's almost
man.
It's like watching
8K cameras. That's what
they're incredible. Holy shit! Man.
I need them to do the entire game like that now. That's what I'm waiting on.
It almost looks artificial. Yeah, it's incredible.
It looks very Madden-esque. Madden tried to capture it, but they didn't.
It really does. You're right.
All right, everyone out there, once we say goodbye to Anthony Becht, we're going to actually open the phone line. So we're going to take your calls, and then Stank and I are going to talk about who we thought earned the Sauce and Wings Saucin' play of the game. Anthony, thanks again, man. Everybody check Anthony out.
Thanks, Anthony.
Have a good one, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. See you later.
We're still here, guys.
Oh, we're at the wrong spots, though. All righty. You guys know what the number is. It's 312-626-6799. Enter 9955 20 47 40. Get into the waiting room. We want to hear from you guys now. We want to hear what you guys thought was positive in that game, what you want to bitch about. We're 2-0, so I know it's a little kind of weird to do that, but we're Bucs fans, so I'm sure that'll happen at some point. Stank, we have this before we even jump into that. We gotta thank our sponsors. We didn't get to thank our sponsors. For the Bay Clothing Co. Amazing merch. I don't know how many times I can tell you guys their stuff is amazing. I have tons of their stuff. Stanker loves the 813 merch that they put together.
I do, man. And I saw a shit ton of For the Bay merch at the game yesterday, man. Every time I saw somebody wearing it, For the Bay, and they're like, look at me weird, but I don't care. You know how I just like to awkwardly approach strangers.
Yes.
It's kind of my thing.
You guys need to check them out, forthebayclothingco.com. Enter the code, that's the number 4, TB Loose, and that will get you 10% off your first order with them. Dude, no joke. I know they're partners, so we're kind of going to toot their horn a little bit, but they have quality t-shirt, and they have the cool heather kind of vintage look. They've got amazing caps, and it's not just Bucks, it's Lightning, Rays, anything Tampa Bay. They're awesome.
Damn.
Yep, there's one of their hats. It's freaking awesome. They have the cool badges and all that good stuff. Now, also, we have our other partner who's sponsor of this upcoming segment, Sauce and Wings. They're on the screen right now. They will not be out in LA. Since we are in LA and this is an away game, you need to look them up and find out where they're going to be this Sunday, because they will be doing a cool watch party at, I believe it's called 1929, something like that. I'll get all the details. We'll tweet it out. But they will have their wings on deck and their macaroni and cheese. Amazing food. I love those guys over there. And we saw them at the tailgate this past Sunday. Really, really good stuff. So find them on Instagram and on Twitter and give them a follow. Stank, that brings us to Saucin' Wings. You got sauced, right? It's kind of like you got mossed. I think we kind of agree as to who wins this one for the week 2, right?
I think we did agree, but
you've changed your mind.
I did. I mean, how often do you see 2 pick sixes on 2 back-to-back drives? How can you not give it to Mike Edwards?
Yeah, I know, but that for me, it's Chris Godwin saucing that fucking. That
I mean, he did technically. If we're using, if you're using sauce as mossed, it's Chris Godwin, for sure. But you just don't see that type of performance, man. And he fucking got penalized for taunting, for backing into the end zone. He was kind of looking back to see if there was a defender behind him.
You can't do it directly. Call. You can't do it directly to the opposition. Apparently, like you can't get over top of a player. Matt Ryan was right there.
I think he was looking back to celebrate with Carlton.
I get it. I totally get it. Also, I don't give a fuck if you're gonna get a taunting penalty for a swag ass player like that. I don't give a fuck about. Get 2 of them. Who gives a shit? We can kick it from our end zone. Who cares? At that point, that was like the cherry on top of the cherry on top of the cherry of that game. That was insane.
What do you think, chat? Who deserves the "You Got Sauced" award? I want to see what everybody in the chat thinks.
It was a weird game, man. That 25-28 moment in the game, and then all of a sudden we go we had that one Atlanta Falcons fan behind us who wasn't even wearing Atlanta Falcons gear, talking shit to us, and then all of a sudden it goes from a 3-point game. All of a sudden, it's like 30-something points. Like, whoa, what just happened? It was pretty intense, man. It was a fucking party.
I didn't even know he was there for the first 3 quarters.
No, he didn't say anything until it was 25-28.
Yeah, this game, as opposed to the last game where there was a good amount of Cowboys fans, the Bucs fans turned out this game. I saw a handful of Falcons fans. And if they were there, they were definitely quiet as fuck for the good majority of the game. It got a little hairy there, but I never felt like we were going to lose the game.
No, absolutely not. I didn't feel like that in the Cowboys game either. It was just one of those games where we just had to keep our foot on the gas. I almost sneezed. Ooh, that didn't happen. All right. I guess we're not going to take any calls. You guys don't want to call in and share what you guys have, about the game.
Don't be scared, baby. I know you're a little thrown off because Papi Latte isn't here and we didn't come out with our victory shades on, which is a bad omen, honestly.
I mean, I had him here. I knew that Anthony Becht had limited time, so I didn't want to hold him up. But here we'll go victory shades the rest of the way, man, because we have to.
I don't have mine with me, but at least you have them on.
That's right, baby. Victory shades.
We got a fucking resoundingly. I think it's Mike Edwards in the chat. They believe that Mike deserves that award, and he got a lot of heat after the game from some of the fans because of his hairstyle. I kind of like it, honestly. I kind of like Edwards' hair. I don't know what to make of it.
It looks fucked up when it comes out of the helmet. Don't get me wrong, but we've seen him outside of his helmet, when we hung out. It looks good. I don't see, it's fucking swag. I like it.
It's different.
And guys, we'll tell you, SMB's told us, Antoine's told us, the most swagged up player on the field is Edwards. They all resoundingly agree that he's the guy out there with the most swag when he's in uniform. King Cook in the chat says Mike Edwards Sauce Award, back-to-back pick sixes, drip with like a million P's. Bro, amazing use of the word saucing and playing off of that. King Cook, you got to send us a fucking Twitter DM or something so we can hook you up with some swag, man. That was freaking awesome.
Need some sauce and swag for sure.
Yeah, we'll get you some sauce and swag, and
he's definitely the ball hawk.
Cool deals.
He's definitely the ball hawk on this defense. When he's on the field, and like I said, they kind of forced him out there in the nickel situation. He's now that SMB is out, which I kind of figured like we'd see a lot more 3 safeties looks, and we did there towards the end of the game. But yeah, man, that guy is always around the ball. Even when he gets 3-4 plays a game, he seems to be in the right place at the right time.
They put him in a lot. BA said we make it a point to put him in on 3rd and long, obvious passing situations like that, because he's going to get his hand on the ball. And you think about it, we have 3 starting safeties on this team.
Yeah.
And making it a point to get your ball hawk on the field, that speaks volumes to what especially after he lost his job technically when Antoine came in as a rookie. But it didn't phase him. He still rotates in as a 3rd guy. He plays a lot. He gets his hand on balls a lot. I mean, it was awesome to see him get 2 like that. It was awesome. And especially that we've hung out with him. We've known him a little bit, kind of know his personality. It was freaking cool, man. It was really, really cool. And he's fast to that ball. Yeah, that one pick six, the first one, that was he knew where that ball was going before he even came out.
That was I want to say all him. Obviously, it's a team effort, but he anticipated that. He jumped that route, took it back, and really just that was exactly what we were missing all game long. A big play from the defense. Again, we can complain about the pass rush, and I did complain about the pass rush quite a bit being out there, but
the entire day.
After watching the game again, man, we were getting pressure. But hats off to Atlanta, man. They came to play. When they went into hurry up, they gave us a little bit of trouble, and Matt did a better job than I think he normally. I normally see. Normally he's a fucking statue back there.
Yeah, he
did a good job of being of escaping a little bit. I didn't like, after rewatching the game, I did not like how much Brady was on the ground. He got hit quite a bit, which I'm not really used to seeing.
He also held the ball, I felt like, a little bit longer than usual. He kind of was looking for that, the deeper crossing routes. I felt like he held on to the ball. He didn't get it out as quick as maybe the first quarter, but win's a win, man. They're hard to come by.
Is that because he doesn't have a reliable check down?
I don't think it was that. I really just think they were just going for that kill, and they were just having a little bit of fun. I really didn't think they thought that for even 1 second they were going to lose that game, so they had a little bit of fun out there. I mean, the guys were dancing on the sidelines when it was 25-28. I mean, a win's a win. I'm happy. We're 2-0. When was the last time we were 2-0, Stank? Can you even remember it? I don't remember the last time we were 2-0. I have no recollection.
Sure, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will remember the last time we were 2-0. I don't remember the last time I went to 2 home games
and then we won
and walked out a winner. That's the weirdest thing. Like walking out of the stadium and cheering, Tampa Bay, and you clapping in the stairwell and blowing people's eardrums out. It's been quite a while since last year was just a dog shit environment to play home games in, except for the Super Bowl. So that we're starting new traditions here, right? I mean,
that was it.
Technically,
once we won that home Super Bowl, that's it. Like, we can't even lose at home now. That's broke
true.
All of the curses that we've had at that stadium. They're all gone now. Think about
Doug
that.
Williams curse.
All of it. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Listen, we've got a caller on hold. So we're going to go to 813.
I thought somebody just hacked in.
I don't know. I think maybe that may have happened. 813, you're on with the Loose Cannons. What did you think of that game yesterday?
Yo, it's Jeremy from Tampa. That was just an amazing finish by the team, because normally on any other given day we would have gave that game up. As much as I hate to say it, but I must say, man, Vita Vea is a grown-ass man. I love the way he was bulldozing some of these linemen and putting his fucking hand up in the air to pat the ball in the air for Shaq Barrett. I mean, I'm hoping this man can stay healthy, man. This dude, to me, is all pro all day.
I think he'll make his first Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah. He got double teamed quite a bit yesterday. Didn't fucking matter. He was still collapsing the pocket like he does.
I think he's gonna be all pro. Honestly, that's how big I think this guy can be this year. The first 2 games, he's been bulldozing these guys back. Yeah. Like you said, double teaming, and he's still pushing them back.
Well, the beauty of the Brady effect. Yeah, I was gonna say the beauty of the Brady effect is he's actually getting national love. Whereas when we used to have performances from defenders out there like Levante David for the majority of his career, it would go unnoticed. But people around the country are noticing how dominant Vita is. And if he continues to play at that level and stays healthy, man, he's a problem. And he's honestly just getting into shape. He didn't come into camp in shape. He's just getting there. This is.
How do you even know? How do you even know with that guy? He could just lean on you and on the sleds himself. He could just lean on the sleds and take him down. Like, how would you even know if he's not in shape? He's gassed a little bit. The guy's big. Guy's big.
Word was he came in a little heavy.
That's fine.
Which for Vita being a little heavy, yeah, I don't know.
But you got the sun. You're in Florida. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not going to take long.
Fucking Maui, man.
He is Maui.
He's Maui. Exactly.
He's fucking Maui, man. He's a big boy, and he's out there to play football, man. Him and Sue are just dominant defensive linemen, you know. Yeah. And the fact that Sue got in there and got after Matt Ryan, that was awesome too, you know. So
it was. Listen, Sue's wrecking shit on Sundays and giving financial and life advice throughout the rest of the week. Is Sue not one of the best follows on Twitter now?
Absolutely. It's so like contrasting to what he does on the field. It's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and then on Monday, Tuesday, he's tweeting out, I think the greatest things that happen in life, and he's like, wow, this is so enlightening. This guy was about to kill someone on the field just 24 hours ago.
Dude, you know what it is? He found his, he found his inner Bruce Banner. He's able to keep the Hulk at bay, until the Hulk needs to come out. And then during the week, he's Bruce Banner. And on the field Sunday, he's, even though he just kind of gently sacked Matt Ryan versus,
ask Matt Ryan. I don't think Matt Ryan will say that. But yeah, dude, that's a phenomenal comparison. Amazing. I love that. That was awesome. Hey, I didn't get your name, caller. So sorry.
No, it's okay. Jeremy.
Oh yeah, Jeremy. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Jeremy. I was gonna say, man, before we let you go, do you want to give us a score prediction or what you think the Bucs need to do for this upcoming Rams game?
I say we put up 41 points on them, and they'll put up 31. I think I'm just so confident in this offense. Like, Brady is just fucking picking apart this defense. I know he got put on the ground a few times yesterday, but the man recovered. He was still putting the ball where he needs to be. I mean, just the way he was throwing it to Godwin and Mike as well in the end zone, those were on point passes, like right there where it needs to be. Because no respect to, Cockeye J-Boo over in New Orleans, he would have never put the ball like that in the end zone. That's just my opinion.
Well,
yeah.
New Orleans fans got a little bit of a reality check this week, didn't they?
Had that roller coaster feel, guys. Yeah, they're still they couldn't even tweet at us last night. They were still busy barfing after all that.
No, I woke up this morning and
I've been blocked by all of them.
Yeah,
that one chick, Saint Sister, last week she made a joke to me, and then I went to respond, and she blocked me. I didn't even get to reply to her, and I thought she was a nice. I thought she was a nice gal, but that's good. Yeah, she's from New Orleans.
Just
Who knows?
Listen, that's
Jeremy,
what bitch ass
good
fans
call.
will do.
Yep, we. I think this is Lewis in SoCal 770. I might be wrong. This might be Corey in Nashville. I can never get.
Wait, speaking of SoCal, Sam in SoCal donated $4.99 in super chat. He said he's at work and he can't call, but he's happy with the win, and he's so happy. We almost put up 50 points, dude. Sammer was like, "I just want 50. I just want 50." On the Dirty Birds, currently the majority of my venom and hate is focused at the Saints, but I also hate Atlanta. And we saw all the clips from a few years back when they completely shit on us in prime time. So it was nice to put up just a big fat score.
That's what I wanted, man. And just like when I go to my kid's soccer game on Saturdays, which is just really a scrimmage between his other teammates and him as they learn, I'm rooting for my kid's team to score 10. We had 9 last week, and I was up and down the sidelines. Give me 10, guys. Just give me 10. And I was doing that yesterday at that game. I wanted 50. I wanted 50 on that scoreboard.
9 goals. That's like 900 points in actual.
Well, that's what happens, man. I'm giving them Tom Brady expectations, these kids, all right?
Sam also says we put our cockerels on the table, and that's what we said we were going to do.
Yep. I think we're going to now go to the phone line, and I think this is our boy Corey in Nashville, I'm pretty sure. Corey, is this you?
Yeah, you know this me. There you go,
Corey?
taking my shine again.
Corey and
that's my line. Boy, what's up with y'all though, man? So I'm watching the game. So like I said, man, I've tweeted this numerous times. Like, you got to score 30 to beat us, and I didn't think the Falcons were ever going to score 30. I mean, they made a little run.
They need to score 49.
Yeah. But we were up 28-10, and it did look like we kind of paused a little bit. And these are professionals. So, they saw it, boom, they seized a little momentum. But shout out to Carlton Davis for the bat down. into the pick six for my guys. But you know, Sam, you were the first person I was fucking thinking about when Carlton Davis was on the ground. I was like, motherfucker, he was not supposed to play. But he got up and he finished the game. I was like, oh shit. But
he got hit in the balls, dude. He got hit in the balls. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, you had a better view. All right, so cool. You should have texted me and be like, bro, you got hit in the balls. Don't be mad at me. But
I was texting his balls. I
shout
didn't
out to
have
him
time.
for making a play. shout out to Vita getting the causing the first interception. He just fucking makes plays, man. Like,
he does.
I'm tired of people saying he's the best nose tackle because that's really a dead position. He's just one of the best D linemen in the NFL.
Sure is.
He's not even a pure nose tackle anymore. Like, he can rush the passer, he can blow up the run. Shout out to Roches, man, on that
Nacho.
run stop. Damn, that shit was fire, man. But I love what you hear from guys like that. Like he said, man, I'm behind two other people, but this is why you can't sleep on professionals. He said, I saw that formation. I studied that, and I knew what play was coming. Dude, that's a rotational defensive lineman, and he knew that. That's why you can't sleep on these guys.
That's a starter. That's a starter on any other team, too.
Yeah, they all played a lot.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, they do play like they do really good. I mean, I have a hard time shuffling my D-line if I'm loaded in Madden, let alone in real life. So shout out to Bowles and his staff for being able to shuffle them guys. Shout out to Byron fucking Leftwich, man. This guy has completely grown. And we better give him his flowers now because he's probably going to have a head coaching job within the next year or so. Like, if it's not with us, it's going to be with some. Like, this guy has grown into one of the most efficient play callers with the amount of weapons that we have. His play design, play call, and with Tom Brady deciphering the defense, it's second to none. And what makes me thankful for these two guys is our red zone offense. If you watch the NFL, dude, teams are. Did you see the Chargers yesterday? Their red zone offense. Oh, it's fucking terrible.
Corey, think about this for a second.
Think
about this for a second. You're a young offensive coordinator, right? And you're in the room. You're in the room with Tom Brady, Tom Moore, and Bruce Arians. You know, if you don't get better, and I'm sure he learned as much from Tom Brady last year as Tom Brady learned from him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell
like.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Tom
9 straight games with 30 points, bro.
Yeah. Tom's a coach.
You can accidentally learn from those guys.
Yeah, I think he's kind of figuring his own style as a play caller, man. And he's just got an embarrassment of riches.
I'm so excited because of the lack of continuity we had offensively against the Rams last year because it was so early in the season. I'm so excited to play them next week. I'm watching us play and not be satisfied with 48 points. I'm watching the defense just really rip themselves. They do the ripping for us. We don't even have to rip them. And they're like, look, that's not going to cut it next week. Dude, I'm really looking for not quite a 38-10 what we did to the Packers when they came to Tampa last year, but I'm actually looking forward to us dominating this game. I really think we're on that level. I think we're on that level as a team right now. I think we're going to dominate the really good, the good teams that think they are right there where they want to be with us. I really think this is the one game we dominate. It's going to be this weekend. I just
what a fucking statement
about this team.
Yeah. What a statement that would make,
something
man.
About this team, and it's something about Tom Brady leading this team. Yep. I really feel like we're going to dominate. I feel like you're going to come out of that game realizing Tampa Bay was just a better team. Period. This is the better team.
Tom's going to have those guys focused.
Humble the Rams.
Tom's going to make sure that they're focused. And I really think the fact that they're playing away from Raymond James Stadium and all the hoopla and the excitement that's kind of been in that stadium the last 2 weeks, it makes them hone in, it makes them focus, it brings them tighter together, and they're going to be on their P's and Q's, man. I think that I agree.
We're going to be up in that bitch.
Last point.
We're going to be there.
My last point. Yes, of course. Yes, sir. We're going to be there. It's going to be so. I can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't wait for SoFi to echo with the sounds of my clap.
I can't wait to bother all the pretentious all the pretentious LA fans sipping their fucking wine spritzers, and Sam are just walking by and clapping and annoying the living shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
them.
to find y'all so we can get that clap going.
Corey, you got the experience to clap after all those years of watching the show. You got the experience to clap.
It's official. It'll shut down the stadium. It's official. My last point too, man. Like you said, Tom Brady's my last point. Now we can all agree we have a very talented team. We have a very good team. Super Bowl defending champions. You got to score 30 to beat us, and don't fuck around and let us get a couple of turnovers, and we're going to blow you out. So that's a good team, right? But Tom Brady at 44 is carrying a really good team. Not saying our team is bad. That's just how fucking great this dude is, man.
No shit.
He at 44, we don't have much of our run game has been inconsistent these first 2 weeks. At 44, he is carrying our team. But that's to show how great he is, not how mediocre our team is, because we have a very good damn team. And for him to be able to stand out with a roster like this, 60 touchdowns, man. 60 touchdowns.
Listen, count your blessings, Bucs fans, especially the newer Bucs fans. Right? I feel like this is our payback for all the years of suffering, never having a true franchise quarterback, except Doug Williams, who got shipped out for the fuckery. Getting Tom here, being able to have this experience and seeing what greatness looks like at that position after all these years, man, it's words can't describe it.
But it's been great chopping it up with you on this Monday night. I'll catch you guys this weekend, man. Be safe. I told you, no crowds attend. Wear gloves. Wear bodysuits. Dress in a bubble. Whatever you need to do to make sure you're on that goddamn flight.
I'm antibodied up, bro. I'm fresh off COVID.
I haven't gone anywhere but to a Bucs game and at my house for the last 2 years.
Bucs game, like that's safe.
All right, man. Y'all be safe, man.
I haven't gone anywhere at all except for a stadium with 65,000 people.
Corey, you'll be able to find us. Just listen for the clap. You should hear it across the stadium.
Right.
Corey, make sure you got both of our cells, man. We'll DM you.
Yeah, man.
All right, bet.
All right.
Good call, bro. Corey, great call.
For some reason, I'm not worried, bro. I'm not worried. I don't think these Cali fans, especially in their new stadium, they're not ready for the Buckaholics. They're not ready for actual Tampanians, Sarasotans like you.
They're not ready for my clap. They're not.
No, they're not ready for us, bro. They're just not. They're not. And I know the stadium's in the hood. I was looking at the map, and it's not far from Crenshaw. I can't wait to kind of go around the area and see all the places I've seen on TV my whole life. I'm excited, bro.
Yep. Our schedule is going to be a little weird this week, guys, because we are going to be in LA as of Thursday. Can't wait to see all of the Loose Cannons travel crew members out there. Yep. It's going to be fucking phenomenal. We might have a little surprise up our sleeves. It might come together at the end. We have two surprises.
A little surprise?
We have a little surprise, but we might have two. I wish I could share the story from this weekend with everybody. Bro. I just wish at one day I will share some absolutely crazy shit from you guys, and I hate to tease you and leave your balls blue, but that's what I do. Yeah, that's what he does. It's usually what happens to him as well. It's kind of his way of payback. Guys, everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that's right, Mudfish Matt. Sam, we're trying to spread the clap. It's my job. My job is to spread the clap. I know that sounds really, really bad, but it is what it is. It's just what I do. It's part of my aura. I'm the clap spreader. I like it, man. I will spread it.
I've come to appreciate it. Having the clap, that kind of clap all the time. It's tough, but
you witnessed the clap change games. Did we not get a pick six?
Didn't I ask for it?
You asked for the clap, and what happened? Yeah, the clap makes plays.
Magic is what happens.
The clap makes plays. When I clap and I don't stop clapping from the very end of the play prior all the way through that play, you better believe when I stop clapping, it's because we just scored. That's how it fucking works. That's the clap. Everyone,
we're bringing the clap to LA.
We're coming, LA. We're fucking coming. Thank you, everyone, to watch. Subscribe, hit the like, hit the comment section with anything you guys thought. Let us know who you think was the Sauce and Wings Sauceum play of the game. And, of course, go Bucs. Deuces in the chats. Let's see them. We're 2-0, guys. 3-0 coming up. Go Bucs.